First to our top focus in this edition, an explosion hit the center of the eastern Afghan city of Jalalabad today, killing at least 19 people and wounding 20. The explosion also sent a plume of smoke into the sky, according to witnesses and provincial government officials. Officials have said at least 10 of the dead were Sikhs. Despite Afghanistan being an overwhelmingly Muslim nation, a small number of Hindus and Sikhs remain in the country. The Indian government has strongly condemned the attack, saying, and I'm quoting, "We strongly condemn the heinous and cowardly terrorist attack in Jalalabad, which resulted in the death of 20 innocent Afghans, including 10 members of the Afghanistan Sikh community, and injured more than 20 persons. We convey heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims and pray for early recovery of the injured." Today's terrorist attack again underlines the need for a united global fight against international terrorism without discrimination and accountability of those who support terrorists in any manner, unquote. That's the statement that's come in from the Indian mission there. Police said the explosion was caused by a suicide bomber who targeted a vehicle carrying members of the Sikh minority who were traveling to meet the president. There are reports that Atwar Singh, the only candidate of Afghan parliament election from the Afghan Sikh community, is among those killed in the blast. WION was in touch with Atwar Singh, and in his last conversation with WION, Atwar said, and I'm quoting, "We are standing from Kabul on behalf of all Sikh and Hindu community members who live in Afghanistan. Minorities are in bad condition. Up to now, we haven't got any help from anyone. Now we want to ask for our rights from the government." Now, the blast occurred only hours after President Ashraf Ghani had opened a hospital in Jalalabad. The explosion damaged shops and buildings around the Mukhbarat Square in the city. Let's go straight across now to Zakir Hassani, senior journalist who's joining us on the broadcast. If you can elaborate for our viewers, sir, the initial details that have come in what looks like a targeted attack on the Afghan Sikh community.
Yes, well, let me just share the latest update about this attack. Just a few minutes ago, I contacted the local officials. They confirmed that in this attack, actually, the death will just jump to 19 killed and 21 wounded. And they also confirmed to me that most of the victims are unfortunately Hindus and our Sikh citizens. We're very sadly that also confirmed that in this attack, in this bloody attack, Dr. Singh Khalsa, who was the only Sikh candidate for the upcoming parliamentary election, is also among the dead. Khalsa, a few days ago, actually before this incident, gave interviews with the local media. He said that his aim is to nominate himself for the upcoming parliamentary election in order to fight for the rights of the Sikh and the Hindu community, which are one of the minorities in Afghanistan. And he said that the Sikh and Hindu communities were discriminated in this country, and now he is up to defend and he is up to fight for their rights. Unfortunately, right now, our Sikh and Hindu community have no one to fight for them, and in this case, they have to present another representative for the upcoming election. But yes, unfortunately, yes, this is a very sad news both for the nation and also for our Sikh and Hindu community. Till now, no group claimed responsibility for the attack, and actually this attack is coincident to Ghani's 2 days visit to Nangarhar. Both ISIS and Taliban are active in this province, which shares border with Pakistan. And the two groups, the two militant groups, conducting operations and targeting security forces, government organizations, and even civilians and human rights entities, which was the last time the Save the Children organization would come under the ISIS attack, that around 15 people were killed and wounded.
Right, stay with me please, Zakria. I'll just come back to you. Also joining us on the conversation is Siddhant Sibul, our correspondent from New Delhi. Siddhant, Atwar Singh, the only candidate of the Afghan parliament election from the Afghan Sikh community among those killed. If you can tell us more about him to begin with, and do you think, and is this being viewed as a deliberate attack on the Sikh community in Afghanistan?
Well, this is the biggest attack against minorities, the Sikhs and the Hindus in Afghanistan since a long time. We saw what happened during the Taliban rule, and now we are seeing this attack in Jalalabad. The Indian embassy was quick to condemn it. But if you look at Atwar Singh, he was a man who was standing on behalf of the minorities, the Sikhs and the Hindus in Afghanistan. We were in touch with them. I used to talk to him ahead of the elections. He had promised WION an interview before the election starts, and of course he told me that on behalf of the Sikhs and Hindu community who live in Afghanistan, I am standing, I will represent them in the Afghan parliament, and now he is no more. That's a big shock for not only Afghanistan but also the Sikh community, the minority Hindu community here. He's no longer there, and of course the fact that India was quick to condemn.
Right, India of course has responded, Siddhant. It has all the reasons to be miffed at this development, this targeted attack on the Sikh minority, as you're saying. If you can elaborate for us the larger message that comes out from that statement that's been issued by New Delhi.
Well, if you look at the last line of the statement, the attack again underlines the need for united global front against international terrorism without discrimination and accountability of those who support terrorists in any manner. That straightly points out at Islamabad. Well, India has been saying, and just last week only our ambassador in New York at the United Nations reiterated this point. He said that there are forces beyond the borders of Afghanistan that is creating problems, and now we see this attack against the minorities in this city in Jalalabad, where 10 members of Sikh community, including the man who was supposed to represent them, no more there. This is a big development. It will have a huge ramifications for the minorities, and of course the peace in Afghanistan. We had this ceasefire. The ceasefire lasted for 3 days, and now we are seeing this attack. This is a terrible attack. The repercussions will be huge.
Absolutely. We're going to leave it there for the moment, though. Zakria and Siddhant Sibul, appreciate very much your joining us on the broadcast with those details and perspectives.